welcome to Roadside Nuggets with Georgie. 2 o'clock, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Give everyone a moment to come in. We're going to get bouncing with this. Probably just going to be a quick hour. Should be linked into everything. Just looking for the notifications. I don't see it coming through yet. I don't know. Facebook's been kind of finicky with this thing. Did it nicely yesterday without a problem. So let's see. Still don't see it. Coolio. All right, we're live. Sweetness. Thank you, Mom. Beautiful. All right, so this is Roadside Nuggets. So we're gonna be going live pretty much every day at 2 o'clock. So that's gonna be the new staple for that. I had another page going that I was doing live streams on. I'm pretty much gonna combine the two and just kind of like sync everything across the board for that. So that way they just transfer seamlessly and just gonna go both pages, I guess, for right now. It's what Mom's guiding. But definitely these are moments just to focus on very important collective energies every single day. The angels and Mom just guiding through and just collective focuses for everybody through what you're going through and your experiences. Today definitely was a lot about the right sciatic nerve and the right hip and everyone's vessel. So definitely we just went through a new moon. It was a very powerful moon in Cancer. And definitely a very emotional moon as far as my personal experience went, and for many other people. Definitely a lot of things came up, so definitely this is that next phase of the process and the release for the collective of humanity going through this cosmic cycle, is that release part. So whatever came up, whatever is still coming to the surface, the next phase of that process is releasing it. It's letting it go. And there's different forms in that, the different phases that go with that process. And for those who are not in the Trauma Masterclass, we actually talked about this last night too. So it's fascinating. It just kind of blends in with today. But really with the right side of the body has a lot to do with the external, the moving out of the energy, So it has to do a lot with the releasing, forgiveness, really having that realization to where you can move that energy to a higher perspective, and that essentially is exchanging it. It's for a higher purpose. So, this energy definitely for today, for everyone, you're probably experiencing a lot of issues with attachments, probably triggers, probably getting hung up on different things. And it's just that experience, because when you're in that space of getting hung up on things, then you can actually learn how to better let it go. A lot of times we spend a lot of times in like linear thought, linear process, where we try to think things are just a one way, one shot done thing. And it's very easy, and it's really not, and so in that releasing process, it has a lot to do with discerning where you are. What is the experience you're currently having? What's the trigger? What's going on? What's coming up for you? Are you even giving space to that? A lot of times if you're not even giving focus or space to it, that also will block the release as well. Because the whole point of it coming into your experience is to be fully realized in some way. Then you can process and transform that. For you to be in denial of an experience that already is present in your experience, that is the epitome of a block, of refusal, of resistance, of non-surrender. That essentially is going to build up, which is what humanity has been facing for long moments. But with every single energetic gate now that's opening up, especially in 2021, is increasing the intensity behind all that pent-up energy, because ultimately the collective is headed for a massive pop and release. How that experience looks across the board is going to be different for everyone. It's unique because it bases itself off of everyone's consciousness and vibration. So whatever timeline you are on, whatever you are willing to let go now and move forward with, that is going to dictate the timeline you set up yourself on, basically. And it's relative in every moment. You can experience this, and it's very palpable, it's very tasteable, in every moment, where you can sense the changes, the sensations. Okay, the experience is getting lighter. It's not so extreme. It's not so in my face today. It feels a little bit more mellow. Thank you, Mom. But for you to even discern that, for you to be observant of that experience, it's showing that you are watching yourself, you're observing yourself go through the motions, go through the process. What did mom talk about most of the time on mission? Processing. Everything is a process. Life is a process. Everything is a transition from one cycle to the next cycle, from one motion to the next, from one energetic to the next. Energy always moves. It keeps changing, transforming, and flipping, and evolving. It's the nature of creation. So in that, our experiences are fully anchored into that template. We will go through change no matter what. Whether you voluntarily choose that or not, it's in your contract. It's in the experience of the human physicality, what we're all going through right now. You don't really have a choice. And where we think we do have choices, where we think we can resist and refuse and deny these things or hold off for longer moments, when we experience the intensity of things or the increase of the pain and suffering, truthfully, that's where the ego wants to hijack everyone and pull us into victim consciousness, into blame, projection, deflection, trying to attach to an external source of your pain and suffering, or trying to make that the representative of the example of it. That's the reason why, and the lack of accountability on this planet ultimately is the big cause behind humanity's pain and suffering. Not being able to reflect on things that could be so small, but the act of refusal in that will make the karma, will make the lessons, will make the journey that much more bigger until you surrender. That's how the energy works, because understanding you being in this physical incarnation now, in these moments, you are bound by so many different contracts to evolve, to realize yourself into a higher truth. And that's every single layer. That's not careers. That's not jobs. That's not, school. That's not, life dream from 3D Matrix that you grew up watching a bunch of Hollywood movies and conjured up that fantasy out of. It's not any of those things. Those things are very trivial, temporary things that come and go and fade without, with moments. And we wonder why we get bored. We wonder why we lose joy in things. We wonder why we lose excitement in things. Is by the time you actually achieve that goal, you have thought so much through that, you've just drained it. You sucked it dry. Or you allowed other people to steal and take that joy from you, or the gift, the magic in it. Because you allowed them to all come in and just put their fingers on all these different things. It's like it's not really your gifts anymore. It's not really your co-creation anymore. It's not really you. It's not your energy. But yet so many people feel obligated then in those moments to claim it for their own then, out of societal pressure. Oppression, suppression, dictatorship, power over. Absolutely not. These things are where humanity has to get put in the absolute space of these same triggers for them not to choose it anymore. That's where the ego goes insane, because it thinks, logically, if I do this, or if I go this way with it, I don't have to deal with this. The whole point of the experience in the first place is because you're not dealing with it, so it keeps happening. So mom's going to put you right there in the bull's face so you can stare those eyes head on and choose a different choice. Then it will stop. Then it will fall away. Then it will dissolve. Then it can have the space, the capacity, and the moments to shift and transform into something else, because everything inside of you is not perpetuating a different story anymore. Because you are finally in the face of that trauma, that fear, that energetic, that attachment, that's whatever it is, that density. You are now choosing a different choice that's higher than everyone before. Therefore, the experience can now shift. The lessons can now shift, because now you need to focus on higher things. Now you need to focus on a deeper part of that message. Not the same one that kept perpetuating over and over and over again, driving you insane inside because you would not surrender. You were in denial. You see, these things are not band-aids. They are not something you just cover up and then moments go by and then disappears. No. Energetic accountability and responsibility has so much to do with the internal focus on yourself, acceptance, and really self-observation. How well Really, do you know yourself? Are you self-observant, self-aware of yourself every single day and watching your energy, where is it going? Okay? A lot of times we go through so many different experiences, we start tensing up, we start holding on to things, attaching, we start stopping, okay? And we blockade ourselves from the process, the experience. Where a lot of that comes in is we're not releasing, we're not letting go, we're not breathing for the most part. Most of humanity still is not breathing properly. And in the moments of those extreme triggers and intense experiences, definitely not breathing. Humanity goes into this weird hijacked mode of just like, you know, the lips stay closed and you're just like breathing through your nose, all like short breaths and everything, or like just mouth breathing, just like blah. Dysfunction. Stop it. Return to yourself. Return to self-love. Return to self-care. Self-nurturing. Grab yourself and anchor yourself down. Stop letting yourself fly off the handle all the time. Just freaking go short circuit, berserk. Grab your energy. Stay with yourself in that process, in that moment, what's going on, and allow yourself to be in that moment. Nowhere else. It doesn't matter. And this is the beginning process of training, really, humanity to wake up their masterhood in themselves. Energetic masters that mom created, gave birth to pure divinity that everybody has inside of them. These are the beginning stages of that coming online, waking up, activating. For you to even understand energy, for you to move energy, for you to co-create with God, you have to be able to have your own energetics in lock and key. You have to be able to know yourself and feel that and be able to navigate that energy. So then when you connect to other consciousness, when you connect to other energy, you're not blurred, you're not blended, you're not taken into the storm and you just become everything else. You must be able to anchor yourself and navigate it. Self-awareness, self-observation. These are how you're going to move yourself through the process of release, transformation, and higher self-embodiment. It is a process of self-awareness. It's not going to just happen to you. It's not going to just, you're going to wake up and you're going to be in it. Why would all these things happen? Why would evolution ever happen to closed eyes? It's pointless. Evolution will never happen to closed eyes. You must be aware, you must be awake, you must realize what is happening to life itself as it's going through the change. That's the whole point of us even physically being here, having eyes to actually physically witness this. Therefore, you cannot be asleep. You cannot be numb. You must be awake, you must feel, you must have your eyes fully open, being aware and realizing what is happening to you in your experience, and thus what is happening to everyone else. What is happening to this planet? And every single moment going forward, are you watching? Or are you just staring at things, moving around, and you're not really able to discern what's going on actually? You're not plugging in, you're not following the energy, you're sitting there. And that stagnation is what brings all the momentum to you, because if you ever looked at a whirlpool, if you ever looked at a stream, right? And all that momentum, that current coursing through it, and you see those rocks sitting there and how the water bunches up around those rocks. There's a lot of momentum pushing up against those rocks. That is what solid, stagnant people are going to feel like in these energies. You might feel like you can, dig your heels in the mud and hold off for a while. The intensity is going to keep rising. The momentum is going to keep surmounting over you until you surrender and allow it through. That is the only thing that's going to elevate you up and allow the ease and the relaxation to come into your being is if you let go. The more you hold on to, the more you try to control, the more you attach to, the more you try to think you know better and try to go your own way with your own personal will against God's will and divine plan when it's already set and coming to you, but you are denying it because you are set in your own belief systems. That is not going to go well for anyone on this planet. It is the epitome of just insanity, really. Pure dumbness. To understand that there is already a process in motion for the 8 billion people on this planet, and for an individual to choose to go against that. because they think they can achieve a higher goal somehow, because they're still stuck in arrogance, pride, trying to prove a point, trying to be showy, trying to flash, get attention. But ultimately, those are the same people that are going to be crying wolf very soon because they feel alone with the choices they made that ended them up in a space far away from unity consciousness. That's how it's going to go. It's already happening. You're already watching the great split happening on this physical planet. The wheat from the chaff. Everyone is moving to the timelines that they are vibrationally vibrating to. A vibrational match to their experience, their timeline, so that them as a collective, they can get their collective experiences so they can transform that part and move into a higher part of society, human consciousness, 5D. You see, this is a process that nobody is getting off the hook on. Nobody is going to be able to like, oh, well, you see, I went through this, God, and like, you see, you know, I kind of did this too for you. And just like, no, absolutely not. Everyone, 100%. Which is why today is so important talking about the release and letting things go. Because if you don't let that shit go, you're going to keep building. The pops are going to keep increasing. The intensity is going to keep getting worse. The pain, the suffering, all of it. If you're in physical pain, that's another thing. You are not allowing the energy to release. Physical pain, swelling in your body, if your body is bloating or your body is not moving correctly, if your motor skills are not correct, if your body is not able to flex or move in positions where it should be able to do that, no, you are not releasing or releasing enough. You're either not putting enough intent and focus into actually releasing that energy that's building up inside. That ultimately is where people want to look for a quick fix, you know, to numb it, to, you know, disassociate from, distract. No, sit with yourself in that process because it's not going to ever stop until you allow it to release. Okay? You know, so definitely with the sciatic nerve on the right side, the hip, you know, the right leg, you know, that backside, especially the right kidney. So much with just like those last parts of the attachments, you know, when we're letting things go, when we really have moved through a lot of stuff, we've experienced shit, we're just like, all right, we're over it, you know, but there's still little pieces, there's little bits there that whether it has to do with your belief system, whether it has to do with your lifestyle, your conditions for how you interact with people or how far you will go, whatever it is, you must resolve those too. You must change those to a higher understanding, a higher truth for yourself that you will implement, that you will apply, evolve to, then the experience can change. If you keep going through with the same redundancy, you are going to get the same results. Only in these moments, it's going to be more intense every time. Because it's showing God, it's showing universe, you are not getting the lesson. You want to be hard-headed, stubborn. And that takes more intense experiences and momentum to break those walls down to reach surrender. It's not anyone's fault. It's just energy that has to have the experience it needs to reach the energy equal exchange to flip it, right? So really, there's no judgment in it. If you happen to be one of those people that are very, very stubborn, thank you for taking that on. But just know that that is also the experiences that you are manifesting in these moments until you can learn to be less stubborn. Be more flexible, more surrendering, allow the flow, peaceful. Stop grabbing onto things every second. The fight or flight mode, let it go. The hesitancy, the reactions, let them go. Allow yourself just to be. The simplest way to allow these things to start releasing from the body. You know, spend moments with yourself, write, journal, sit outside, being quiet, play some music. You know, don't do things for other people. What is making you happy? What's going to help you lift your vibration, your consciousness up right now in these moments? Without anybody else's initiation, without anyone else's help, how are you going to keep yourself afloat? You can't depend on everyone else through the whole ascension process. Part of being that master is being the example, which means you can't have someone helping you be the example. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of things you just got to get. And you got to experience it. You got to allow yourself to have that experience Go deep within yourself and then release it. Trust it, forgive it, love it. Have compassion for yourself, nurture yourself. All these different things that humanity is so resistant to, that they depend on other people, they suck off of other people's energy for. These are the things that are going to drive you absolutely mad in these moments, because you're supposed to be doing it for yourself. You're supposed to show up for yourself. You're supposed to support yourself. Haven't you had a lifetime of all the bullshit and people that didn't do that for you? You're supposed to be doing this for yourself now. Or did you not learn anything from God? She did everything for herself and all of us. You know, so definitely these are big, big moments for everyone to slow it down, okay? Put on the brakes a little bit. It's not a time thing. It's not an expiration date. You're not going to hyperventilate if you take a pause, okay? It's going to be okay. Everyone will get through it. But if we're a lot calmer, if we're actually breathing properly, we're allowing that steady flow to come through, way more processing, way more things can move through in those moments versus everyone being a crazy chicken coop, flying all over the place, just losing it. It's like not going to work that way, okay? We got to be solid, we got to be stable, and have that foundation of love and mom. Move forward in that truth and trust. But we're not doing this crap the same way we've been doing it every last year, 10 years, 20, 50, whatever. We're not doing it all over the same way anymore. We're flipping all this. We're doing it the right action way, alignment, love, integrity, respect, divinity, compassion, all of it. The whole shebang, straight up to heaven. And that's for everyone in their experience. So definitely, some comments. Hi, everybody. I love you. But yeah, it was a little bit intense for a moment. But mom she really wants y'all to get this, you know, because, you know, I don't know. I haven't been able to sleep really at all in just a while. I didn't even really knock out until 5 this morning, you know, just so much energy through the night, so many thoughts, so many different, you know, things coming through, channelings and stuff, things I'm telling y'all right now are about to pick up in a big way, okay? For the etheric to be this active and for this much to be going on in the etheric, is in preparation for something. It's a mass movement. So physically, we will experience something very soon. I don't know shit. I don't know when. It's coming, though. And I definitely feel it. And the experiences are ramping up. I'm being pushed just to write so much more, to channel so much more in these moments. You know, it's because they need to be documented for a purpose. Because something is taking place that needs to be documented. You get it? So always follow your pings. Always follow, you know, the angel's guidance. You know, mom always follows the angels. She always listens to them. She's told us many times, you don't know better than your angels. Okay? So shut up and listen to them. They're the best guidance system you got on this planet right now. It's the only guidance system on this planet you need to be feeling into and following right now, other than anyone else or other things, the web or anything like that. All right? So I, you know, love you all so much. You know, that's definitely why I wanted to get on here and share a lot of this wisdom. Just going to check the comments a little bit, see if there's any questions. It's only been 25 minutes. That's insane. All that energy, I could have sworn I was up here for an hour already. Today's been really wonky with the time. It shot to 1 o'clock really fast, and I was like, whoa. And yesterday was really fast too. Hi, all you beautiful people. And no more questions. All right, cool. All right, Mama, you got anything else for him? Vulnerability. That's the next one. So vulnerability. So these, yeah, definitely. So these definitely are the moments, you know, to start revisiting vulnerability for yourself, you know. And these are exercises you do in a lot of different ways, you know, just really looking at your daily activities, you know, what your routine look like, you know, what do you usually focus on every day, and do you ever have any fun? You know, vulnerability really takes you to the space where you start focusing on where are you actually loving yourself? Where are you actually spending the moments and actually like, giving love to yourself, and a lot of people have a lot of belief systems, wonkiness, awkward programming, conditioning, just from life and just other people's stupid belief systems, growing up. And the vulnerability really is like, how much do you care about yourself? How much do you know yourself? Do you still like to draw? Do you still like to color? Do you like to play outside? Do you like animals? Do you like to go camping? Swimming? Like vulnerability is like how well have you ever spent moments with yourself to know who you are right now in this moment, not who you were 20 years ago as a child. No, who are you right now? How vulnerable have you been with your moments now, besides work and school and children and all this crap that you fill your day with? Where in that was moments for yourself? Did you actually focus on yourself and actually start to understand yourself in deeper levels, deeper ways? It takes a lot of vulnerability to do that, because you know why? Because everyone wants to distract, everyone wants to disassociate, everyone wants to watch freaking hours long on Netflix binge watching shit of other people's lives, other people's dramas, other people's attachments to stupid fantasies and crap, but they will not give a single moment to themselves in a day. Seriously dysfunctional. And the amount of vulnerability it's going to require really isn't a whole lot, but it's going to keep growing. And then you can reach the deeper parts of yourself and actually understanding yourself. But if you are so distant and closed off from yourself and self-expression, or even being able to relate yourself to anything, express yourself through anything, then you're not being vulnerable. You are not releasing. You are not being. That's a good one, Mom. You're not being. That's organic. We are all 100% organic. And so I feel I said this in the master class last night. There's a saying I really loved in 3D when I like a couple years ago, and I can't remember who wrote it, but it was like, it went along like you can't hope to transcend a world that you refuse to engage. And that 100%, it's like, people want the easy way out. They want the easy route. They want the shortcuts. They want the easy pamphlets, the gimme, easy access shit. Okay? And it's like this comfort zone. There's like this box that people want to put themselves in. And they're like, I will go this far, I will do this much, and then I'm good. I'm cleared for Ascension. Fuck no, you're not. You're not going anywhere off this planet. You will not transcend a world that you refuse to engage in, that you refuse to get to know, that you refuse to understand what the fuck's going on, that you refuse to actually step in and get involved with the dysfunction on this planet, actually start to make a change, have an intent to do something about it. You are not going anywhere off this planet. You are not cleared for takeoff. You are not cleared for ascension or evolution. You are not cleared to be off this planet in the first place, because you still didn't get the first lesson. Love, self-respect, integrity, honor, all these different things, they are not just for other people, and they are not just for a subject, amount of people on this planet, for everyone, all 8 billion people on this planet. And where we will hold other people accountable or blame other people or project on other people, but we refuse to stand in that energy, in that space ourselves, to give ourselves that love, to give ourselves that responsibility and accountability, that honor and respect. You wonder why people are so jealous these days. You wonder why people are so envious and going after each other and trying to tear people down. It's because they don't have their own honor. They don't respect themselves. And that is something that no one can give you. You have to be able to give that to yourself. To decide that you're worthy to even have self-respect. To love yourself at all. No one is going to tell you. God screamed that at you for 3 years. And look where humanity's still at. No one, not even God, can tell you to respect yourself and love yourself. You gotta get it. And that's why she's gonna make the experiences like so, to where you're gonna go to the wall. If that's truly what you want to build in front of her and in front of love, You're going to go through that wall. And you're going to feel how dense, how hard, and how just pain and suffering it really is. Until you learn just to stop putting those up and start embracing life, embracing experiences, allowing it to come in. Because the only one that's green lighting experiences in heaven, let me tell you, is this woman right here. Okay? She is the only love muffin in heaven that is green lighting experiences for 8 billion people on this planet. The only one. So what are you honestly in resistance to? What are you in objection to? What are you in denial or refusal of? What? She already said yes to it. It's coming to you. You're living it. You're experiencing it right now. So God must feel this is highest for you. This is the important thing to get to, where we allow this acceptance and realize that love is carrying us. Love is going to bring the highest experience into our experience, our reality that we need. And all the grand things, the happiness, the joy, the love, the higher expressions of love. Those things come after we can reach that higher truth ourselves. To be given those things, to be just have those fall in your lap, gratitude, can't honor it, can't value it, can't respect it. You see where that energy will go? The ego will immediately manipulate it. It will immediately try to tear it down, destroy it, try to flip into something else. But once you learn honor, once you learn respect, truth, trust in yourself, when those experiences and those gifts come, you have the capacity, you have the space to gift that to that energy. Give trust, give respect, honor, gratitude to that, because you've discovered it within yourself. The same thing with, allowing these things to be forgiven. With attachments and not letting things go and not releasing, forgiveness is going to be humanity is one of humanity's biggest tests, not only for other people, forgiving other people, but just with the self, self-forgiveness, and how many layers, we really have to go down to the core of our being to forgive all those different layers, to forgive each other. The reasons, the purpose, the whys, the hows and whens, all those different things, all forgiven, all let go. So these things are not just trivial matters that people just talk about, or just they're oh, well, yeah, I learned forgiveness, or oh, yeah, I forgive you. How deeply do you forgive them? Did you ever go that far with it? How deep do I forgive them? There's depth to this. It's not just surface criteria. It's not just this this overlay. It's deep. And for you to really understand the forgiveness for yourself, you got a lot of layers to go through. Because there's a lot of things that we've attached to, that we've blamed ourselves for, that we have inflicted on ourselves through life. We've inflicted belief systems. We've inflicted pain, abuse, self-judgment, self-opinions. We've forced ourselves to live certain lifestyles, to say yes to different things that we really didn't want to live or go through, and we did. That's a lot of forgiveness, and that's not something you can just brush under the carpet. You can't just be oh, well, yeah, I learned my lesson. Nah, that's not forgiveness. You got to go deep within yourself and realize that all those things, you're still holding resentment towards yourself. You're still attached to yourself. You are still blaming and projecting on yourself. Ooh, that's deep. I feel that. I felt that hit the collective. Yep, that's deep, deep. Those things have to be felt into and forgiven. Then those things can start releasing and moving out of your experience. But you are not getting off the hook. You are not getting an easy pass. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. This is not going around the Monopoly board at all. You will obtain the same self-love and respect and forgiveness for yourself as you will obtain for everyone else on this planet before you ever even see 5D. That is going to happen. It's in the will of God. So where this divine plan is going to pressurize and compress on everyone on this planet and move us to that highest timeline, thank you, Mom, the quicker you make these choices and do not resist, Keep allowing it to show you the highest form of love in that experience without judging it, without fighting it, without trying to blame it on somebody else. See everything in these moments as things that you are manifesting because you need to see something in it now. Because what is coming, you're going to need to be prepared for that. And you're going to need to be aware. So that means you have to see it now. So if it's getting intense, it means you're probably not slowing down enough to get the lesson, because where you're headed, you got to be already ready for it. And you're not. Which is why it's probably blowing up in your face right now until you get it. You see, you can't know what's going on and you can't make it linear. You just have to trust mom, trust love that she's guiding this whole thing. And if it's coming to you, if it's happening, surrender, accept it, love it, forgive it, let it go. But the more you try to fight with it, the more you want to arm wrestle and compromise, the more you want compensation for something or an explanation, it's going to be a longer ride for you and a bigger lesson for you as well. Because it's not up to us. It's not about us. And like I said in the trauma class last night, a lot of these things that a lot of us are dealing with, especially people who have been, following the streams and being with, mom for the years, years ago, all of that, we're the highest consciousness on the planet. We're holding a lot of space for humanity, so we have to be those examples. And it's going to require everyone to step up into higher ways and be their master self. That greatest, grandest version of yourself you can be in these moments, that's all God's asking for. She's not asking for superstars and rock stars and all this, just come out with all the shebang bangs and divine gifts and everything all of a sudden. I mean, if that was possible, we would have did it when she was here, right? What she is asking for is just for you to be your greatest, grandest version. And whatever moment you are in, just make the best decision, the best choice out of love that you can make in that moment. And just keep moving forward. If it's a lower, just keep going. Just keep going. Don't focus on all the shit that's fucked up, that's out of order, that's falling apart. Because most of it has to be like that. You probably need to hear that. Most of the stuff going crazy and dysfunctional right now needs to be that way because it's actually dissolving. It's actually breaking down. So physically, it's going to look energetically like it's dysfunctional, like it's going crazy. But energetically, it's actually dismantling itself. It's phasing out of our reality. So it's going to take on the persona physically of something dysfunctional, chaotic. You see? Don't attach to things. Let them go. Keep pushing to the higher truth, the higher perspective, and you'll see these things start shifting out of your reality. Everything is energy, period. Okay? With a stronger intention, with trust, confidence, bravery, courage, love, staying heart-centered, anchored to mom, you are going to fly through this experience, and it's going to be amazing. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be, you're just going to be up in the clouds. It's going to be a lot of crazy experiences and intense moments, but it's going to be way more enjoyable knowing you're secured in mom, secured in love, and that it's for your contract. It's the divine plan. This is why you're here. You're not just some measly, weak human down here doing some little life story for 50 years and then you die and phase out. No, you're a freaking royal angel. You're a divine being that's done this so many times. It was necessary for you to be here. So the resparking of that inspiration, that passion in everyone, that's coming. But you're going to get really pissed off and triggered before you get to that point. It's just how it's going to go. You got to realize what you're passionate about in life. You got to realize what you live and burn for. And a lot of times you got to have a lot of things blowing up around you and in your face before you can really see what matters to you the most. That's what you'll set your intention for. That's what you'll put your will behind. And that's what you will really fully support and embody. So mom's going to push you to the highest realization, the highest truth with that, which is her, which is love, higher self. And that's going to be your passion. Everyone's on this planet at some point. There's going to be, different waves. Everyone's in a different, unique spot. So there's no linear time or judging this thing. It's all happening, unfolding exactly how it needs to. Oh, I love you all. All right. Mama, anything else? Okay, so big discernment. A lot of discernment in these moments with research and all those different things. Like it's awesome. People are getting more involved in researching and just like finding out a lot of things. Have to understand, okay, the collective human consciousness, they are still in ego, okay. So while we are transforming the ego and the unconsciousness, moving to a higher vibration, higher self-embodiment, accessing these other forms of information where it's coming from sources of consciousness that are not in the same lanes necessarily consciously as we are with mom. Have to understand, it's not a judgment thing, it's not an opinion thing, it has to do with energy, okay? And so where mom is God, and connecting with mom, like everyone has through sessions, the surgeries, that connection with God allows access to higher consciousness. Nobody else on this planet gets freebies. And you definitely are not getting freebies knowing, bypassing what you've done to God as a feminine, this planet, as being as part of humanity, not taking any accountability for any of that. You get a free pass to higher consciousness. No, rescinded, denied. Okay? So when accessing these other forms of information on this planet and reading other things coming up, use discernment. Fill in your heart space. A lot of it's going to be probably fantasy. A lot of things are going to be attachments, belief systems. A lot of things are going to be linear time attachments to things that happened years ago or a projection on the timeline that could happen, but it's just our own fantasies, delusions, or delusions of grandeur. A lot of those things are stuck in a lot of this awakening stuff, the new age things and all this and the spiritual community. And remember, mom shared a lot about the spiritual community, in these past years about, the light workers and the spiritual ego, and just the self-importance, the massive self-importance about all of that. They are blocks. They are filters. Therefore, the fullness that they are getting through, the fullness that they are sharing is massively dictated through those filters of ego. Therefore, if you take that whole thing and buy it 100% as pure truth, you might be a little fucked up later. Because it's not organic, pure truth. And this is where, mom definitely kept everything simple. She helped us get that ley line, that anchoredness in our heart space. Feel for the truth. Where it doesn't feel true, let it go. Don't focus on it. Don't attach to it. Don't go into thought spins or fantasies or what if this could be or what if it looked like this and this and that. No, stop it. Let it go. Okay? Because all of it's already realized. So for you trying to recreate or refabricate it out of fantasy what it might look like when it actually already exists is dumb. Let it go. Okay? The realness will come to you when you can fully surrender and accept and allow that in. But until you stop doing this self-generating thing where you're trying to create or trying to dictate, trying to predict everything, you're fucking it all up. You're distorting the discernment coming through. Okay? So allow these things to go, let it go, accept simplicity, allow yourself to be stable and just in peace, okay? A lot of the higher conscious and things coming through, I will tell you right now, the biggest things that I have channeled, I had no intention to do it. I literally was just in a space of quiet and peace, and I just sat down, and all this energy started coming through, and I was just completely opened up to it. I'm like, all right, come on, angels, bring it in, and just like communicating, channeling, writing down. It's like that's the space you're supposed to be in, not just like having this whole agenda and all these different things, and they're like, oh well, this and that. It's like, no, let it go. A lot of things that are coming through are going to be filtering out the old, fragments of imagination that we have. Mom has restored the dream machine, where our faculties basically in the brain are coming more online. Where clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience, all these different things are coming online. The higher gifts, the higher sensitivities of the physical vessel, those things anchoring the higher conscious and energy is going to shift the things that we have been actually attached to in that space. So our delusions are, our own distortions, our, fantasies, are attached to what we've self-generated, machinations, just bunches of thought loops over and over again. All those things are actually filters because we have higher abilities. So of course there would be a frequency or a filter or a block in the way of that we would experience the lower. So as these things are turning on, your third eye is opening up, claircognizance is coming online, all these different things coming in, it's going to filter and shuffle out the density. It's going to break down the blocks. So as long as we are not attaching to anything, we're not like, getting stuck or going on a repeat on anything, it will filter out and flush, and we just keep documenting, keep journaling. And the things that keep coming back as it's releasing, those are the truths. Those are the present moment awarenesses the angels are pushing through. Everything else is just a bunch of muck. It's confusing and it's fuzzy and it distorts the perception, so a lot of things are a physical experience where we allow the release. We allow the transformation of that by not trying to control it, not trying to dictate how it happens, what the experience from it is. We just allow it, and that'll allow more to come through. And so when we're researching and doing things on the web or just listening to people and passing at the stores or whatever, and information is coming out, then that information being shared is like you can pick up on the codes. You get pinged from the angels, different things that are said and shared, and it's like it lines up synchronistically to what you're researching or what you're looking at or what you're feeling into in those moments, and you'll just find that it'll all come to you. You'll manifest it. The angels and mom will bring it straight to you in your experience, and it'll line up for you to where you don't have to go digging and seeking it. If you have to spend a lot of energy and you get frustrated, you're trying to dig and trying to figure out something, automatically no. You're so many low frequencies, so the energy is all fucked. Okay, just let it go. It should be a simple, easy flow, organic process as it comes in, and you allow the process and you just let it flow out. Okay, just like a thought, just like an idea. Don't let it just get stuck on it. So, and yeah, drink water. I tell you that every time I'm on streams. I have my big jug of water here. Drink this every day. Just keep filling up and just keep drinking. The more water you have in your body, the better you're able to process, the more information you're able to get through, the more you're able to transform, keep moving. Like the less you do, it's like you're in a desert. It's like you're crawling through a desert on your knees and you're like, water, I can't do this. Like, you don't do that to yourself. Love yourself, prepare yourself, make sure you're hydrated for whatever energies you're taking on or processing or releasing or going through, and just allow that just to keep flowing. Okay, go ground it outside, pick a favorite tree, get those energies out and tend to let it release and flow out. Then more is going to come in, and you just repeat that wash and repeat process and walking yourself through the process, and it gets just better. It gets more grander, more experiences with it. But this is it's a process. Nothing has ever stopped being a process. Mom talked the most on Mission about process, all the process mom had to do, and then once she finished the process, guess what? There's residuals. There's another process. There's always a process, and you can't get impatient. You can't get ahead of yourself. You can't get pushy, or too stubborn and rigid, because then allow the process, whatever needs to take place in every moment, and just surrender to it. And you'll experience some of the highest joys, in that experience of the transformation, just witnessing it move so quickly, just experiencing it actually change and shift. And it wasn't such a headache this time. You didn't freaking feel like you were dying or going insane this time. It felt a lot better than that. The more you surrender and just allow the process. And a lot of times you won't actually figure things out, or a lot of times you won't have the realizations or the understanding of it until you actually release the energy and it flows out. Then the information comes back to you, understand the whole process of what that was and everything else. A lot of that happens afterwards. So for a lot of people trying to control and predict and dictate and have a whole printout before the experience happens, is like that's almost 9 times out of 10 never going to happen for you. Okay? And this is where we really got to let go and trust. Have that faith in mom and allow the experience to show us the way into higher self-embodiment instead of we trying to control. Like we got some reins on a horse and we're just like, okay, well, let's go this way and this way. You don't got the roadmap. You don't know the way. Mom is the only compass we have. So that's where we have to let go and surrender and forgive and just keep loving ourselves and everyone else and moving forward and supporting each other. All right. So I love you all. I love you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being beautiful, divine, love muffins and everything. And just, yeah, take care of yourself out there. Someone will be back, I feel, at 6 later today. So, drink your water. Gratitude ceremonies, if you haven't done it for the new moon that we just had, really strongly advise everyone to do that. And it looks like it's going to rain. So I'm going to go outside for some clearing. So I love you all. Thank you for pushing and keep being your greatest, grandest selves. All right. Take care.